Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
You nailed that intro like England nailed first place in their division in the World Cup.
I know. I know. That was pretty interesting. England is in it. Like, I mean, obviously, like being from Canada here, we were all kind of hoping Canada would do something. And they came. They saw.
They showed up.
They showed
Jordan
up.
Davis scored a
They
goal.
made it. They made it. Right.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. Right. I mean, we could still win a game. Right.
Yeah. And I think they face Morocco tomorrow. So if they beat Morocco doesn't advance. They have to tie or win.
Ooh,
so
we could be spoilers.
We can play spoiler. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. That's
I
true.
like that. That's good. Argentina made it through, so my wife is very happy.
They did.
After that opening day loss to Saudi Arabia, somehow.
They stumbled. Let's just look at that. That was a stumble.
Yeah, then they figured out how to play soccer again and realized they have one of the greatest soccer players in the world and Messi on their team. So
the thing it's like wait a minute, we know how to play this game, right? This like, we played this game for a very long time.
Yes,
like even they were saying Portugal's like going through everything. I was like, okay, so the teams that normally go through. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting round of 16. I think one team today, Australia, I think, made it.
Yeah, Australia
for the first time. That was kind of cool. So yeah, that's
I love the Aussies, so I will also be rooting them on. Good stuff. And the Americans made it through by beating Iran yesterday.
Yeah, so. The Americans, with their chants, it's called soccer. Americans are such trolls. I swear to God. But yeah, it's called soccer. It was their chants.
It's hilarious. Yeah, that'll bug a lot of people. So I therefore give it the thumbs up, because what most people don't know is the word soccer actually originated in England.
Ooh.
Yes. And for a while, there was a good chunk of the English population that called football soccer. Look it up, people. It's facts. Anyway.
Enough soccer. Yeah.
We also have things other than soccer to talk about tonight. First of all, I have something exciting. Okay. Look. I have to get this to show through our video filters. It's not working.
It's not working because
it's not working at all.
Your filter is on. That's why
my filter's on. This is like screwing everything up, right? I'm going to like seriously. I'm trying to show Krishna something cool, and my video filter messes it up. There we go.
Living the Dream, Stardom's 10th anniversary interview. Oh, 10 years of Stardom, eh? Oh,
yep.
Okay.
This is a review of the Untitled by Mr. Rob Goodwin, who also hosts the Stardom Cast, which is a podcast exclusively devoted to Stardom, which I am now a huge fan of. Way to go, Rob! Keep it up. This is their 10th. This is the book he wrote on their 10th anniversary. It's like a blow-by-blow account of everything that happened in 2021 in Stardom. So I cannot wait to read it, because it's going to catch me up a lot too on where I am now, because I have discovered like one of my favorite promotions of all time. I love Stardom. You have no idea.
Yeah, I do. Since you've been reporting on them for the past couple of weeks, I would say you do love Stardom.
Oh yeah, you have got to see Azumi in action.
Azumi, okay.
Yep. I think she's becoming my favorite wrestler in Stardom, to be quite honest. She has the coolest theme music.
Okay.
And she does the flippy things.
Okay.
And she does the most amazing sort of around the back, like a lucha move around the back that ends in her with an armbar on the opponent.
Okay.
It's absolutely insane. This girl can move. But anyway, I digress.
Inui, is that her name?
Azumi.
No,
yes.
Wait. I looked up
stylized
Azumi, and it came up Azumi Inui, Japanese singer. I'm like, I don't think this is the right person.
No, but if you enter AZM Stardom, you'll find her. She's 20 years old.
Just came up. Azumi, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the current high-speed champion.
High-speed champion. Okay.
Yes, the one that you have to win the belt in under 15 minutes to take the title.
Smart.
Yes, it's yeah, exactly. It's good times. So anyway, she's an incredible wrestler, but she's kind of up and coming. And I like to root for the people that are kind of up and coming and going to see their day and stuff like that. So but there's just so many good wrestlers in Stardom. So I can't wait to read this book. I just thought I'd share that with you, even though tonight is AEW Dynamite. So we're not going to be talking about Stardom unless they all show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Stardom Invasion of AEW. Does that start tonight?
I don't think so, but maybe that's an angle that Tony Khan can consider.
Right. That's true. So I'm taking it though that you're pretty hyped for tonight's show. So I'm taking it though that you're pretty hyped for tonight's show.
Well, I looked at the card for tonight and I was like, it's an interesting card. There are some very good matches that I think are on here.
Well, I
Um,
mean,
well,
let's face it, we're in the middle of what Dave Meltzer called on his podcast this week the greatest best of seven in wrestling of all time. So
I can't disagree with him. I
I
mean,
can't either.
I can't really remember a best of seven period. But I know that WWE likes doing that. Doing random matches over and over and over again. But
Do you
um,
do you not remember Sheamus and
that's
Cesaro?
that's what I was gonna say. The Sheamus versus I said
And
WWE does
we
their
were
random
all
stuff.
bored to death of that one
Exactly.
by the end of it. But no, Meltzer actually named some very famous ones. I've never
Mm,
heard of any of them, but apparently there were some famous best of sevens that happened.
okay,
So
fair
cool,
enough.
good stuff. But anyway, so we do have as what we always do here on our Dynamite show on One Winged Wrestling. We're going to predict the card for tonight, get all the matches wrong like we usually do. Then we're going to go and
Same.
watch the show, come back, and we're going to talk about what we saw. So anyway, you want to get into the card?
Let's get into the card.
Let's do it. So MJF is showing up tonight.
Yeah, we heard this last week from Regal,
Mhm.
right? MJF
Yes.
is gonna show up tonight.
Yes.
Okay, I guess he's gonna give us an explanation as to what happened.
Hmm.
Though we don't, I think everyone's kind of figured it out already, but I mean, we don't
Right.
really need it. But hey, you know what? For the people who don't really watch or follow everything about AEW and stuff like that, maybe this is
Hmm.
good. I'm very curious to see how the promo he cuts tonight because, again, as you said, MJF's greatest strength is the mic. If he fails
Yes.
at the mic, guess what? He just fails in general, right? So
This is true.
so I'm hopefully this is gonna drive a storyline because we
Hmm.
are my assumption is he's gonna try to hype up Winter is Coming, the match between him and Ricky Starks.
Yep.
But I don't know. Unless something else, maybe who knows, maybe Mox shows up today. I don't
Quite
know,
possibly, quite
right?
possibly. I mean, we do need a transition, right? So
Hmm.
we're gonna have him transition away from the mock stuff and William Regal explain himself, read the email, that kind of stuff, or troll us by not reading the email. It'll
Yeah,
be one of the two.
yeah.
And then maybe transition and Ricky Starks will interrupt him or something like that,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
they've got to transition into that program pretty soon. Winter is Coming isn't that far away, and
No,
this match is kind of cold right now. So
yeah.
like they really need a reason for Ricky Starks to be fighting against, I almost said Ricky Steamboat, to be fighting against MJF. So
Yep.
so yeah, I'm looking forward to this sheerly because I want to see what he's gonna do. You know,
Yep.
MJF promos are seldom boring. I
True.
may not love his character right now. I may not love kind of why he's so loved right now, but you know, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Same.
Right.
Same. I'm curious. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. He's no Tam Nakano on the mic. Jade Cargill's TBS Championship celebration.
AEW really loves their celebrations, right? They gave the what's it called? So the Acclaimed like 2 or 3 celebrations so far.
Yep.
And now they're giving Jade her celebration. My assumption is that this is going to start a storyline. The whole point
Hmm.
of this celebration is so I don't know who's going to be challenger for this,
Yep.
right? Because Athena did challenge for this already.
Hmm.
So it is gonna be kind of odd if she challenges. But with her new gimmick and stuff like that, she's kind of a bad guy. So I still don't think it's gonna work. They have to find some baby face who's gonna go up against Jade Cargill because she is not maybe she is a bad or heel. So do you think they would take someone like I don't know, why am I blanking on her name right now? She is a female wrestler.
Penelope
Um,
Ford.
Penelope Ford, I think Penelope Ford would be a squash match for them. They don't, she's such a good wrestler and they don't consider her in that way. I would be great. I'd be so happy to see Penelope Ford beat Jade or any of the women for the belts because I think she's that good.
Oh, she is
Um,
that good.
yeah.
Hikaru Shida.
Hikaru Shida, that's who I was looking for. Like, I don't think Cargill has faced Shida yet,
No, she
right?
hasn't. And Shida would like wipe the mat with her.
Exactly.
Wipe the
So
mat with
so I'm curious who this new person is going to be.
her. Hmm.
And yeah, maybe it's Shida. So
Right.
let's find out.
Yeah, exactly. The good news is that Shida's good enough. She would also carry Cargill through a good match.
Yeah.
So That's at least one benefit. The problem is that what I don't want to see is Jade Cargill beating Hikaru Shida, because she has no business beating Hikaru Shida.
It's
Um,
yeah, fair
but
enough.
you know, well, here, you know what we're talking about though? We're talking about matches.
Here we are.
You know what this isn't?
And not a match.
A match.
I know.
Like, you have so many amazingly talented women on this roster, but what is it? Is it just that Jade Cargill gets like those 15 segment ratings? You're starting to sound like WWE there. If that's all you're caring about, oh, that 15 minutes, we got to make sure it's Jade Cargill out there doing something ridiculous again this week. Like, you know how you get people over? You put them in front of people
Yeah.
over and over again.
Get some matches out.
Right.
Show us.
Get some matches out. The AEW fans want to see good wrestling. Do you know what I love about watching Japanese wrestling? Quite honestly,
Just matches.
there's no championship celebrations. If they do that kind of stuff, it's like at the press conferences, or there'll be some backstage interviews that are put up after the show. House shows, doesn't matter, right? There'll be maybe some in-ring promos, but it's wrestling, 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 which is
True.
exactly why I'm here. I want to see a
Yeah.
match. I do not want to see Jade Cargill stand in the ring. And look, for all of the Acclaim's faults that I have and the bones I pick with them, at least Caster and Bowens can
They can
talk on
go.
the mic.
Yeah.
This is Jade freaking Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
The woman is one of the most boring promos in the entire company, and you're going to make me listen to a championship celebration with it. She needs to be interrupted like 2 seconds into the promo,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that at all. But then we do have a women's match on the card, and it is Willow Nightingale versus Anna JAS.
Yeah, that's a very odd match to have on the card. I mean, great. That's really good that they're giving Willow and Anna some time on the main card.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a very odd. I guess because Anna and Ty are like the heels right now, and they beat up Willow and, well, I guess they beat up Sky Blue, who's friends with Willow, and Willow came in for the save. So maybe it's going to continue that. And my assumption is it's probably going to be like a tag match between the four of them soon. But that's good. They're good. They're so you know, this will be. I'm hoping that this just shows again how much better these women are. And again, listen, we really do want to be able to praise Tony Storm, but we just don't see it what everyone else sees.
Right.
So like, I think, you know, putting these people on the show will kind of showcase like some of the good wrestlers that they barely utilize, right?
Right.
And again, we're Serena Deeb. We're all these other.
Where's Jamie Hayter?
Where's
She's the freaking champion.
She won the belts, and then she just disappeared.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is it. I mean, the stop and start. It's like, okay, can we have Jamie Hayter on this show, please? Yeah. Like,
and
where's she?
Not. Maybe she might show up for a segment or something like that.
Well, I really hope so. And let me guess, she'll be pushed to Rampage.
Oh
well,
my God, hope
then
not.
we have, let me back up. Willow Nightingale versus Anna Jay. I am looking forward to the match. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. I think Anna Jay keeps improving. I would not exactly put her in the upper elite tier of women's wrestlers, but she's better.
Getting better.
And Willow Nightingale is good. So I think that this will be a fun little match. I expect some kind of shenanigans somewhere in it. We'll see what happens. I think Willow Nightingale will likely lose. I think Anna JAS is going to cheat to win.
No surprise.
Yes. Then we have Bryan Danielson taking on Dax Harwood in their first meet ever.
Yeah, I saw this this graphic on Twitter today, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. But as I said, you know, earlier this year, I said, you know, Dax Harwood has to be the most improved wrestler, and or he's just a good wrestler that I've never really seen wrestle in singles match. So when Cash went down, Dax wrestled a lot, and he's really good. Bryan Danielson, there's nothing really to say about him. So I'm actually hoping, like, I think this is going to be like a really, really, really good match. Like, I mean, unfortunately, they're on a card that has like a epic match on it, which has been going on for the past 3 weeks. But like, I think this match, like, if it was any other Dynamite, it could have stolen match of the night, right? Easily. Yep. Yeah. And I think this is going to be an amazing match.
Oh, 100%. Did you see the promo on Rampage that led to this match?
No, I did not see the
Oh, yeah, no, it was Dax Harwood with Cash, and they're backstage being interviewed by Renee, and they were talking about the year they've had, right? And Dax was saying something that this is off my memory, and it was a
Mhm.
few days ago, so this may be slightly inaccurate. But Dax said something like, the only thing that I love, as much as my boy here in my family is professional wrestling. And he goes, the year I've had, and he talks about his year. And he says, there's one match I really want. And he's like, Bryan Danielson, I want to face you one-on-one. And you can tell this is Dax's pitch to be
Mhm.
the wrestler of the year.
See, there you
Yep,
go.
100%. So this match, and I cannot see Bryan Danielson doing anything but saying, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Right? This is a challenge to them now to put on a match that is going to be so outstanding that it shoves Dax right into the conversation for Wrestler of the Year near the end of the year when people will begin to consider this and it'll be
Mhm.
fresh in their mind. So I think these guys are going to go out there and put on a showcase like you won't believe. So I am hyped like hell about this match because this is going to be my kind of story. You got the story of Dax trying so hard to get that singles victory over Bryan Danielson. And, it's going to be a great match. Great
Mhm.
match. I think Danielson's going to win because I think they need to keep him strong right now. But we'll see. And of course, that leads us to match number 3 of the greatest best of 7 of all time between Death Triangle and the greatest trios, and I'll qualify that greatest trios in wrestling right now, the Elite.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know how this can't be match of the night. Like, this is gonna be my match of the night, obviously. But I'm just curious, what are they gonna do differently than they did before, right? So they did the match at the pay-per-view, which was amazing. And then the match after in Chicago was actually very well done because just the way that they taunted the crowd and stuff like that, and it was a very, very different match. So I'm very curious again. Match 3, who wins this? Will it be Death Triangle? If Death Triangle wins, they go up 3-0
Mm-hmm.
against the Elite, right?
Yep.
How do you call yourself the Elite if you're losing 3-0, right? But I kind of do want Death Triangle to win this match because I want the Elite to show why they actually are the Elite. Because remember, who's cheated so far? So Ray cheated the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Then Penta cheated the second time. So
Mm-hmm.
is it this time? Is it going to be Pac again? Is he going to be like rounding it out with like in
Right.
this series? Will
Right.
Pac cheat to get that
Yeah.
last win?
Right. And then that makes Death Triangle the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it
That's
makes
right.
the Elite the
Collapse.
Boston Bruins.
That's right. The collapse. The
Okay.
epic collapse will happen.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. So, what do I think is going to happen? First of all, I am hoping this is a exploding barbed wire death match. Because it'll be different, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Elite is exploding barbed wire. That'd be pretty great.
Yeah.
Um,
Win barbed wire death match. I think
yes.
AEW has proven that they're the masters of that match. So
Exactly. Ooh, by the way, Stardom and Showcase is now up on Stardom World, and I can't wait to watch the exploding coffin match. Just saying. They also have a hairdresser match where the winner gets a haircut.
the winner or the loser?
The winner, because it's a hairdressing match and it's like women's wrestling, so
Oh,
the winner
okay.
gets a nice haircut.
Okay.
Yeah, the exact opposite, but they get to use shampoo during the match. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's going to be interesting. I am very much looking forward to reporting on this event next Monday.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, to return to non-stardom things, I'm clearly stardom obsessed right now. So, this match is going to be incredible and could very well be the match of the week. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like every week it's like, what would I pick except for this match? And it's like, only because I saw Suri and Utami Hayashishita last week,
Mhm.
which was like a 5-star match. That's it. It's the only reason it won. So you've got to almost go 5 stars to beat the Elite and Death Triangle right now.
Yeah.
It's like all of these matches are pretty damn close to 5-star matches. So match of the night, in all likelihood. I mean, I'm gonna say the Danielson Dax
Yeah.
match could do it.
It could do it. Do you think they put the Elite match on first, or the Elite match goes on in the main event?
Ooh, I think they open with the Jade Cargill Championship celebration.
Okay. And then they move in. So then
Or
would
no,
the
wait, no, I take that back. They're opening with MJF.
Oh yeah. They are.
For sure.
And then the Elite either go mid or they go at the end.
Take that
I kind
back. Take that back.
Sorry,
The
sorry,
Elite
sorry.
can never
The
go
the
mid.
Elite go. Sorry, I meant they go the middle of the card. But I kind of feel they're going to put the Dax and Danielson match at the ending for some reason. I don't know
I think
why.
I'm going to say the Dax and Danielson is the 9 o'clock match.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And the
And that
women's
the Elite
match.
are on at the end, because the end, like, since they seem to be so interested in ratings, the end, there's nothing that kills wrestling more than playing the ratings game. I'm just throwing that out there. Put a good show on. Stop looking at the
Mhm.
ratings. I
Mhm.
realize it's business. I realize you have to. Blah blah blah. I can't stand it. Just put a good show on. Ring of Lucha. Anyway, so I keep going off topic, but I'm excited tonight. I don't know why. I just feel like something's gonna happen in tonight's
So do
show.
I. The
Yeah.
card is so light that something has to be happening tonight.
Yeah. It's like, so I think they're gonna put the Elite and Death Triangle on last. I think it's gonna be a really good match. And I think you're right. Something different is going to happen. And I think that Death Triangle is gonna go up 3-0, and then they're gonna have to suffer that epic collapse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that'll really establish the Elite as, like, but do you want Death Triangle to be the team that choked hard? I mean, come to think of it, do you really want to build Death
No,
Triangle
that's
like
why
that?
I'm thinking maybe
Hmm.
the Elite win the next two. So they tie
Yeah.
2-2. Then Death
Yeah.
Triangle wins the third one.
Yeah,
Then the Elite come
Elite
back
comes
and win the last
back,
two.
and yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably the likely way they'll do it, because it keeps both teams strong. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
one to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. You never want them to be remembered that way, because really, who wants to be the
You
Toronto
never
Maple
want to
Leafs?
be
Yeah,
the collapsing Maple Leafs.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I think this is going to be, well, obviously an exceptional match. It's got the Elite. I mean, the only thing that would be better is if it had the Elite versus United Empire, and
Probably upcoming very soon. So who knows, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Could you imagine Aussie Open and Will Ospreay taking on Kenny and the
Elite.
Bucks?
I, yeah. No, like I mean, we saw it once and
Yes,
we
I
were
want to
like
see it
this.
more.
Yeah, we were like, this match is absolutely amazing. We need
Yes.
it more.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
know, because now we've got this whole Wrestle Kingdom stuff coming up, right? So yeah, yeah, could be very good. Anyway, well, that is our show. Shall we go watch said show?
Let's go watch it.
Okay. Well, as always, after Dynamite, we will be back. And that was Dynamite. And all I have to say to you is I am so thankful, so grateful right now for the Elite, for Death Triangle, for Bryan Danielson, and for Dax Harwood. Because this was a back and forth edition of AEW
Oh,
Dynamite, if I ever saw one. Because holy crap.
there were, yeah, it was a very odd edition of Dynamite. After last week, we had said, what a great show,
Yeah.
right? What a
Yeah.
great show, nothing but great matches. And today was kind of like, oh, I see the direction you're going in. Okay, all right.
Yes, exactly. It is such a strange episode. So why don't we get into it, and we can let everyone know why we think this was a strange episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have it. That's our Dynamite tonight. Have a good night, everybody. Anyway, to actually get to it now with my tongue untied, AEW came to us tonight from the Indianapolis Farmers Coliseum. We have Taz, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone on commentary. And Jon Moxley's music hits to come out to start the show in one of our many, many unannounced matches and segments on the night. He gets in the ring, he gets a mic, and he says, I grew up 90 miles from here. And when I started, I wrestled here all the time, at the Salvation Army gym nearby. That was a long time ago. And you never know in this business what's around the corner, but there's 3 constants in this world: death, taxes, and Jon Moxley. There is nobody that can outwork, outfight me, outbleed me, or outsweat me. Nothing's really changed. I'm at the top of the food chain in AEW. I do what I want. I say what I want. This ring belongs to me. There's not a man in this building that has the balls to come out and tell me any different. Well, Hangman Page's music hits in a big surprise. I was not expecting that.
Yep.
Excalibur says, "Oh, he's in town to talk to the doctors to see if he can get cleared." So, there's the whole "is he cleared" story. Anyway, I'm pretty sure after this he probably is. But anyway, Hangman gets right in Mox's face, and Moxley says to him, You sure you want to do this after what happened last time? Like, I'm sorry, do you not remember the last time? And that Hangman's had enough. He decks him and they go at it. They fight for quite a while. Security runs down. They eventually get separated. Crowds chanting, let them fight. And, so it's a big brawl. Anyway, that was our opening to the show.
Yeah, this kind of takes Moxley out of the championship picture at the moment, because Hangman's just full steam ahead going after him. I was actually happy to see Hangman back. I know I joked on it about it in the pre-show, but I did not really expect Hangman to be back at any time soon, because hey, where's Adam Cole? But I mean, like, happy to see him back. It looks like he's been cleared, hence the fights that carried on. Yeah, like even when Moxley accidentally slipped on the ramp and fell, I was like, oh my god, I should think. But they just kept going. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting storyline, because Hangman's back for revenge, though it really wasn't Moxley's fault. I mean, they were wrestling and he got hurt, but yeah, this is I like this. I just like the fact Hangman's back. I like that Mox's promo just got cut so short. He's like, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, I know.
But because Mox is hilarious. But no, I'm just happy to see Hangman back with a good promo. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the wait. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah. Do you remember what happened? Like,
yeah. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. You could almost say that, when doctors have to diagnose someone with a concussion, right, they have to make a bit of a judgment call, right? Like, you have to weigh the evidence, but it's not necessarily definitive. So you have to use your best judgment and make a call. Right. This is actually how the phrase judgment call gets used. Right. I just want to make sure that that's clear. This is what judgment call actually
when we get
means.
there, I was confused as well. So
yeah. So yes, I just thought I would point out that concussion diagnosis is an example of a doctor sometimes making a judgment call.
Make a call on that. Yep.
So yes, but to get back to the segment, this was great. I mean, this was a brawl that and great. It gets Mox out of the title picture. He's still calling himself the top of the food chain, which is essentially pretty close to being true. Because MJF is nowhere near his bloody level, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, Mox top of the food chain. Hangman Page is back. So happy Hangman Page is back. I cannot wait to see these two guys go at it some point in the near future. Mox, are you ever going to take a vacation, or are you just going to keep wrestling?
No, I think the vacation. I think a lot of things have been set up tonight, and I think the vacation has been set. My prediction is that Mox took Hangman out. Hangman's going to take Mox out in the next match, and Mox will go on vacation.
It's quite possible. Yes, it's kind of like a tit for tat kind of thing.
Kind of, exactly. And Mox will come back eventually, but like we'll talk about storylines that kind of just got announced. But we can continue.
Yes. Well, because next up we have Dax Harwood taking on Bryan Danielson in a match that got made essentially on Rampage. But Dax making his push for Wrestler of the Year. But really, Krishna, can we please take a serious moment here just for a minute? Dax is not Will Ospreay. He is totally not getting the Wrestling Observer's Wrestler of the Year, because Will Ospreay is.
I agree that that Dax will not get it, and as I said, Dax is me calling Dax the most improved wrestler does not make him the Wrestler of the Year, obviously, right? And listen, like from what Will's done, I mean, Kenny's only been back for a certain period of time. He was off the entire year. So let's remember that he was off, then he got suspended. So you know what? If Will wins it, I would not be surprised at all. And maybe he deserves it. But yeah, Dax, Wrestle of the Year, maybe not. But good match, which you're gonna get to. So
yes, exactly. So I just had to throw that out there because I needed a few moments to mention Will Ospreay tonight. Anyway, the crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome!" right at the beginning, imitating the level that all WWE crowds chant, "This is awesome!" They locked up. It's actual wrestling. It's awesome. Anyway, there is some actual solid catch wrestling to open this match. It kind of ramped up when Danielson upkicks Dax, and then he responds with a stomp. There's a Danielson tope that sends Harwood right over the barricade, and then Dax suplexes Danielson onto the floor in the crowd. Then we get Dax. Dax starts chopping Danielson. Just Danielson turns bright red. Like Dax has a lot of offense here. Bright red from the chops. He lands his German suplex series and a picture perfect pile driver for a 2 count. Dax missed with a top rope headbutt, but that allowed Danielson to get a Magistral on him for 2. Back out of the ring, Danielson hits the apron knee, a bunch more chops, and these guys chop the hell out of each other. But Dax catches him on the turnbuckle, but Danielson reverses it, doing the hammer and anvil elbows on the turnbuckle, followed by an avalanche back suplex that Dax reversed in midair into a crossbody, but Danielson rolls through the crossbody for a pin for 2. Then there's a lariat sequence. Like, I'm not even going to try to describe this sequence. Go watch the match.
Mm-hmm.
This match is worth watching this lariat sequence because they went at it back and forth, lariat after lariat. It ends with both of them down and a fight forever and a "this is awesome" chant at the same time. Dax then catches the kick, one of the yes kick, goes for a slingshot power bomb, but Danielson hits him with head scissors, reversing it, but Dax reverses that into an inside cradle for 2. Like the back and forth reversals in this match were something else. Dax does a German suplex to Danielson, who then lands on his feet, goes for the Busaiku knee, but gets caught in a slingshot Liger bomb for 2. He locks in the sharpshooter, and Dax locks in the sharpshooter, but Danielson makes the rope. Then there's the next time Dax tries to lock the I'm very excited about this match, as you can tell by my tongue getting tied yet again. Anyway, Danielson then reverses the second sharpshooter attempt into a pinning sequence that goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That gets transitioned with Danielson locking the LeBell lock on in the middle of the ring. And finally, Dax Harwood taps out. What a match. What did you think, Krishna?
Yeah, no, this is a great match. This just shows again that Dax Harwood, we've seen him always in tag team wrestling, but like now we've been seeing him a lot more in singles matches. But he's great. He's a great wrestler. He showed it with Danielson tonight. Danielson is just is flawless. I mean, this guy, he's just so good. And yeah, this match was fantastic. I like the back and forth. I like the hard hitting. I remember we were talking about the Jericho versus Ishii match, right? Very hard hitting. Like Danielson's chest was split open in this match. You could see it bleeding. But it was fast. It was really fast. Like these guys could go. And then it was one of those like reversal after reversal, kind of like they didn't know who, or you didn't know who was going to come out on top of any exchange, which was great. And then at the ending with Danielson just catching him in that in his what does he call it again? The
LeBell lock.
The LeBell lock, right? Oh man, he just like he had it. I like when I saw him put it on where it was positioned, I'm like, that this is where Dax taps. And what again, I like the little fake out by Dax at the ending, right?
Oh yeah, when he's like, the respect angle.
Yeah, and he turns around and he gives him a hug. I'm like, this was a great match. Great way to start off the show.
Yeah, I'd call those 4.5 stars. It was such a good match. Such a good match. I mean, the story was great. The back and forths were great. Each guy got a chance to shine. There was so many good moves, so many good reversals. I absolutely loved every second of this match. It was just great. And I mean, I didn't describe everything that happened in this match. So I mean, for the love of God, people, go out and watch this match if you didn't already, because it is worth every minute of it. But anyway, we then move to Tony Schiavone in the back with Ricky Starks. And this is where we're going to have a little discussion about a certain phrase. And Ricky Starks says, I would like to make an announcement. I'm entering the Diamond Ring Battle Royal. I'm making a judgment call. I'm winning the Battle Royal. I'm coming for MJF's spot. I will prove I am absolute. I'm like, you're making a judgment call. I think what you meant to say was, you're going out on a limb, or you're going to make a statement, or, you're going to make a prediction, or you're going to spoil the match.
What if he had two options and he was in control of both options? One, he wins the match. Two, he loses the match.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's weighing these things in his mind, and then he's employing like logic and his trained analysis to go, so which is it going to be? I'm going to make a judgment call right now. We have this group of wrestlers in the ring, and I can't really predict the outcome, so I'm going to make a judgment call that I'm going to win the match. Yeah, it's like
when he said it, I was like, huh? I'm like,
Like,
oh, okay,
what a
sure,
judgment call.
sure, okay.
I don't think that word means what
Yeah,
you think it
no,
means.
yeah, he messed up that one.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But nice try, Ricky. We got your point though, and we are happy that you're going into the battle royal because Ricky Starks, you're pretty great.
Hmm. He's and normally he's like perfect on the mic. So this is kind of funny when he said it. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. I'll let it slide.
Well, of course. I mean, it was a good amusing moment for me
It
watching
was.
the show. I'm like, a judgment call. Really? Okay. Anyway, so we come back from a commercial break now to Mox and Hangman brawling in the garage, which kind of there's more pull apart. They're I think it was Excalibur that said they're going at it hammer and tongs.
Yeah, he said something like that, and I was like,
Yeah. I'm
okay.
like, well, because those are blacksmithing tools, right? I'm like, they're going at it like blacksmiths. Like, does this mean they're pounding on each other so hard as like a blacksmith pounding something on an anvil?
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, apparently they're blacksmiths, and because they're using open flames in the back, they're getting thrown out of the arena. So, yeah. But anyway, they're getting tossed, which of course becomes important later on because now Moxley has been removed from the arena.
Hmm.
And they were actually removed. This wasn't like the ineffective cops in a lot of cases where someone gets removed from the arena and then
And they
comes
show up.
charging back in 10 minutes later because security sucks. Um, but anyway, we then have Renee in a pre-recorded segment with the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Blackpool Combat Club. The Blackpool Combat Club being only Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. So anyway, Daddy Magic says, he says to Claudio, because Renee tries to talk with Claudio about his upcoming Ring of Honor title match, and Daddy Magic cuts in and goes, when you're forced to join the JAS, you can be anything you want. You could even be a yodeler. Oh, which of course we all know is a callback to one of his original WWE gimmicks he was handed, right? Remember that?
Poor Claudio.
I know. It's sad. Anyway, Renee says tries to continue the interview with basically the Jericho Appreciation Society acted like a bunch of like annoying frat boys through this whole thing, and it was pretty funny. Renee was like, "Well, you'll be facing Jericho for the Ring of Honor title." Claudio's like, "I can restore my confidence. I can silence my inner doubts in this match." And then you just hear Jake Hager yelling at, "I like this hat." Claudio's like, look, I came to AEW to prove I'm the best wrestler. And then Garcia goes, what are you talking about? Blackpool Comic Club's falling apart. Why are you guys even talking? Right. And Yuta goes, look, I'm done with your stupidity. I'm done with your suspenders. He says to Angelo Parker, you wear a belt too. What's up with that? Points to Wheeler Yuta for that
Yep.
one. This kid's come a long way with promos. So we're getting Garcia and Hager versus Claudio and Yuta. I don't think I caught every one of the one-liners in this exchange because there were just too many and they were too fast. But and we're getting Yuta and Garcia at Final Battle for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship.
I liked when Jake tossed another hat to Claudio. He's like, "You can wear this one. We're tag team partners." I'm like, "This is so ridiculous."
Oh, they're so good.
You know, these guys are having fun. It's good to see Daniel Garcia back on TV again. Hey, they're gonna fight for that belt. I want to see Claudio join the Blackpool Combat Club because it's so ridiculous.
You mean join the Jericho Appreciation?
Oh shoot, yeah, join the JAS. Sorry, apologies, JAS, because it would be so ridiculous. But yeah, no, I like this because Renee didn't even have a chance to really talk. She was just getting cut off the entire time by the JAS.
It was a mess.
It was a total mess, but it was so funny. So yeah, I like this.
I think we can call the theme of tonight from here on out chaos.
Yeah, there was a lot of chaos. Yeah, we can call it chaos.
Not necessarily the good kind of Okada-led chaos either.
Yeah, things are gonna happen.
Yes. You know what we forgot to mention in the pre-show? Because an hour before, the pre-show, when you and I were talking, AR Fox was officially signed to AEW.
I saw that. I saw that.
That's pretty great.
Hey, Tony, I guess Tony's listening to me because I said, hey, Tony, sign AR Fox.
Yes,
he's listening.
He's pretty great. And we get another surprise match. We get AR Fox taking on Samoa Joe for the TNT Championship. Apparently, AR Fox can sign a contract and get a TNT Championship match on the same day. That's pretty good. So anyway, there is a Samoa Joe beatdown until Fox finally dodges Joe with one of his cool flips. Inzagiri does a Tope Con Hero. Joe dodges, but Fox rolls through it. He gets a pump kick on Joe, but then Joe takes out his legs. And then there is a long beatdown where Joe is just beating the crap out of AR Fox, including a pretty good side slam for a 2 count. But then eventually Fox manages to hit a DDT from the middle rope, and he does multiple thrust kicks to a seated Joe. He does an amazing looking short cutter and then a 450 splash for 2. I mean, he's no Saya Kamatani, but it was a really good 450 splash. Then Joe comes back, smashes him into the ropes, muscle buster for 3, and sorry, AR. You remember AEW, we're happy, but Joe is gonna kill you.
Yeah, Joe's gonna kill you. And this was a good match. I like this. Like, this is the type of Samoa Joe match I want to see, right? Like him just dominating. That sweep he did when he took out Fox's legs, I was like, oh god damn, that looked cool. And then just a total beatdown and his cockiness, his smug eye. I loved every second of the Joe beatdown. Like when he finally got him in the muscle buster, and he again just laughing at him, just like pretending like this guy didn't do anything. But AR Fox's his arsenal, like these moves he was doing, holy crap! That short cutter, I'm like, what the hell was that, right? And then Excalibur's like, oh my god, what a great short cutter! I'm like, there's a thing called short cutter? What the hell, right? And yeah, no, he was great. He was great in this match. Joe was fantastic. These are the type of Joe matches I want to watch. And yeah, I really like this match. This was where I was like, wow, are they gonna have really good matches? Because they had the Danielson match. Now they had this match. I'm like, nothing is gonna be bad about this show.
Right. Exactly. Nothing's going to be bad about this show. I refuse to believe there was anything bad about this show. So, yeah, I love this match. This is the Samoa Joe I love, right? Like I told you, I love Samoa Joe. And for a while, you were like, why does this guy like Samoa Joe? Yeah. Well, now you know. Right. He's not going to be the guy who does every match, but that attitude with the right wrestler is just so much fun to watch. I love his attitude in the ring, and he just exudes it, It's so good, so smug, so cocky. And then Joe takes the mic at the end of his match and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to a new and glorious era, for I am the one true king of television." And then Wardlow comes on the screen, and I don't know what the heck he was wearing, but Wardlow says, well, Joe does dumb nicknames. And then Wardlow, of course, claims Joe invented Warjo. I'm pretty sure that's false. There's no way Joe invented Warjo. I'm pretty sure Wardlow invented Warjo. Do you know how I know that's the case? Because then he follows up and says, Joe forgot it's Wardlow's world. Wardlow, newsflash, that's a really dumb catchphrase. The crowd chants Joe is going to kill you when Joe comes to the ring and is in the ring, right? I mean, that's a pretty good phrase. He is the king of television. He has both the titles.
Yeah, exactly.
Wardlow. Joe's the one who does dumb nicknames. Joe.
Wardlow's world. Party time.
Excellent. Yeah, pretty great, Wardlow. Pretty great. Party on. Party on.
Yeah.
So we then have a Powerhouse Hobbs video, and he's walking in the Oakland streets. He's been bullied and beaten up, but this has only made him tougher. He's going to make each and every one of us feel the pain and hurt and happiness. Happiness? I'm taking what belongs to me.
And then he walks into some place and says, "To be continued." And I'm like, what? Do you remember there was a Simpsons episode where Homer is watching TV with Bart, I think, or Lisa, and then suddenly on the screen this commercial pops up. It's like, "Gabble, gabble, gabble."
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, "I don't know." That's what I felt about this segment. I was like, I don't know what just happened. Okay, like nothing happened really. It's just like it's like this is the Will Hobbs story, and he just walks by some guys playing stuff on the street, hears them a bit, then keeps walking, and then walks into some place and it ends, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep. But don't forget, he's going to make us feel the pain, the hurt, and the happiness. The happiness?
I don't know. Are they trying to turn him good? I have no clue what they're doing.
Oh,
He needs to
did Hobbs and Starks get together and write their promos together this week?
probably.
Oh, so I'm guessing then that some guy in a bar took something from Powerhouse Hobbs and he's going to get it back now.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Maybe he lent his lawnmower to someone. He's taking it back. I don't know. Oh, then we get an even better video. we we get a video about Hook, who defended the FTW title, and then Daddy tells us how he hooked in his red drum and countered a submission hold.
Yeah, I was like, okay, thanks for trying to keep Hook relevant because his popularity is dying a bit right now. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. I was like, okay, whatever. Thanks for that update. I didn't care.
You know how you keep him relevant? You give him to United Empire.
Just give him to United Empire
Yeah,
and
hand him over to Will
even...
Ospreay. Will Ospreay will
right.
turn him into a man.
All right. Okay.
No. Well, I mean, Will Ospreay did say if he could take one member of the AEW roster, he would take Hook.
Oh.
So
okay.
that's why I'm bringing that up. Will himself said that. So speaking of Wills, William Regal comes to the ring, and Excalibur calls him a snake and a coward that only shows up when Mox is removed from the arena. He's not wrong. And there's what I think is a covered barbecue in the ring. So anyway, he introduces MJF, and MJF comes out and says, look, I know you people aren't very bright, but when the best wrestler on God's green earth is holding this mic, you keep your hillbilly mouth shut. And I instantly went, wait a second. Will Ospreay's not in the ring and he isn't talking. So, they're allowed to open their mouths, I guess. So MJF then says, I know what you want. I know what you want. I'm going to tell you how our unholy union came about. Mr. Regal sent me an email when the firm attacked me. I watched on, and he now reads the email. I watched on as the firm attacked you. You've grown weak. You could be the greatest villain of all time. You have much to learn. I could teach you. Don't grab the dynamite ring. Grab the brass one. And then MJF says, after this, we met many times behind closed doors, and this man, William Regal, is a genius. He told me not to use the ring. He said, use the knucks. He wanted me to leave Mox with an emotional scar so he would never forget being outsmarted by MJF. But what about the firm? I kind of respect them. They saw weakness in me and attacked. I would have done it. Even if I harbor resentment, though, I don't chase people. That takes effort, and that's for poors like you. I'm above you. Speaking of things I'm above, let's talk about the championship. This title makes me gag. I want to change things up. It needs an upgrade. It's tacky. It lacks class. It reminds me of all the hacks that held it before me. Sure, they were talented, but none of them are on my level. That's why this version of the title is garbage, and he immediately tosses it to the floor. He then reveals a super tacky title that he calls new and improved, the Big Burberry Belt. It is now the most important and prestigious title in all of sports wrestling, he says. And, I think he's clearly got it confused with the IWGP US title, but what can you do? No one deserves to be recognized as world champion except me, not your overhyped pieces of trash like fake tough guy Kenny Inkston. Okay, Bill. Eddie Kingston. Chant his name all you want. He will never be world champion. Fake tough guys like Ricky Starks. He's a fake star. And speaking of fake, the worst of the worst, the mid of the mid, fake wrestlers like Bryan Danielson. No offense. Me being comparing me to Bryan Danielson, he couldn't wrestle his way out of a paper bag. You tried, Mr. Regal, but some people just can't be helped. Speaking of people who can't be helped, here's a message to everyone in the roster. As long as I'm in the company, I'm going to be champion all the way to the bidding war of 2024. Okay, he babbles about WWE and makes some stupid bunch of dumb talk about that. Maybe in 2024, I'll go to Hollywood. And Tony goes, we can only hope. And I couldn't have agreed more with Tony Schiavone. Like the crowd was beginning to die off at this point, right? They weren't even booing him. He was like yelling at them to try to inspire them. And they just looked bored. And he goes, but I'm not deaf. There's an interesting amount of you who are over the moon when I became champion, but soon you'll change because you are fickle. Okay. You'll say I never wrestle and I'm just boring and all I do is talk. I'm sick of MJF. To you, I say great because you'll keep tuning in. I will defend very rarely and I will wrestle very rarely because I'm a special attraction. 9 times out of 10, you'll have to buy a pay-per-view hoping to see someone dethrone me, but they won't. I'm about to have a title reign that makes others seem short and sweet. My reign of terror has just begun. At that point, he says, "Oh, wait, Mr. Regal, I almost forgot. I wanted to say, without these knucks and without you, none of this is possible. For many years, you've sacrificed blood, sweat, and tears to this business, which is why I want to say from the bottom of my heart." And he decks William Regal with the brass knuckles. Regal is out cold, drops like a rock. And MJF says to him, "It's funny. You said I have much to learn, but you made a deal with the devil. Let me leave you with the words you sent me 7 years ago. I only hire world-class athletes. When you're one of them, send me your stuff." And then he leaves, goes out through the crowd. Bryan Danielson comes in to check on Regal, and they take Regal out on a stretcher.
Yeah, this promo, and to use MJF's terminology, was mid. This got boring fast, and I was like, oh, this is not exciting at all. This is kind of boring. Like, yeah, the strike he did to William Regal was like, oh my god, okay, fine, sure. Besides that, everything else he was talking about, I was like, this is just boring. However, I do think he clearly laid out who he's fighting and his feuds are. So it's gonna be Ricky Starks, it's gonna be Eddie Kingston, and it's gonna be Bryan Danielson. And I think by him saying Eddie Kingston will never get this championship belt, I'm under the impression that maybe Kingston might be the one to beat him for that belt if you want to build up a huge baby face to go up against him. But hey, the feuds are already there. We know he's fighting Starks. Now he's definitely fighting Danielson, because Danielson played this as if like legit he had lost like someone he loved. Like the way he was like so emotional. Like this guy, like he doesn't get enough credit because he never really gets to talk that much. But like, yeah, you felt it from Danielson, right? So yeah, the promo itself, like, man, even I was like, the crowd was just, they were just standing there.
Yeah.
Like there's a point where they're kind of like, okay, what else? Like, and it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, come on, Tony, this is what you have for us right now? This is your big promo? Like, you know, somewhere some guy who's been suspended, and definitely from AEW, is laughing his butt off right now because like this promo sucked. It really did. Like, I did not care for this, and I was like, okay, I expected better, and this was not it. This was not a good look.
Yeah. This promo was terrible. Terrible. I hated it. I mean, and look, I'm already down on MJF as the champ anyway, right? But this was terrible. I mean, it was all over the map.
Yeah.
It was trying to do everything all at once. It was disjointed. It was, you know, one guy after another. I'm just going to line some people up. It was like paint by numbers. Like when he got to the point where he's going, you people are going to dislike me because of these things. I'm like, you're absolutely right. And that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not heel heat. This was like, please go away heat for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak for the rest of the crowd, but they looked like they were really into it at the beginning, and he just lost them.
Yep.
They went quiet. They were just kind of like occasional boos, and he was like yelling at them as if they were still booing him, and they had all just gone silent.
Yeah.
Right, and he couldn't do anything to kind of get them back. He lost the
like
crowd.
He even like stuck his mic up in the air at one point to get the crowd to chant, and they were barely chanting anything.
I know. It was so quiet. And I'm not going to blame this crowd at all.
Nope.
Because this crowd came alive during, I mean, there is a moment coming up when this crowd comes very alive and stays alive for a good 20 minutes. So, you know, this crowd was not a dead crowd.
No.
But this crowd was a smart crowd. And this was not good stuff. And they knew it. So, you know what, MJF? If you're going to be the champion and you replace the belt in a totally WWE move with this piece of crap that's yours, and you want to talk about WWE and you want to name WWE, you've lost me. You've totally lost me. You're not someone that I'm going to pay any attention to. When I get to your shit doing this, I'll just be like, and then he said some stuff. Because I don't care. If you keep bringing up that crap, like, come on, dude. Really?
Yeah.
Like, do you really think this is a point that you can push and make it sound like something good on a wrestling show in this day and age? We don't give a shit. We just don't care about you in WWE. I just don't. You want to go? Go. And it's not that I'm going to sit here and be mad at you and give you heat. I'm just going to think you suck and move on to the next match. I'll just fast forward you. I don't care about you. And the second that belt gets back on Kenny Omega's waist will be the best day in this company, period.
I know.
Oh, where
Yeah.
the hell is Kenny when we like save
Yeah.
me, Kenny, or Bryan,
Or
or
Bryan.
any of you?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
he's right. I will be hoping someone beats him for that belt because this era can't end soon enough.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah, I really wish that Ricky Starks will make this the shortest
Mhm.
title reign in AEW history.
That would be funny as hell. That would
It
be
would
absolutely
be. It would
hilarious.
be pretty great. But all we're gonna get is MJF weaseling his way out of matches for like a year. It's gonna be pretty great. Anyway, so that was MJF. We had no opinions on that. Speaking of Ricky Starks, we have next up Ricky Starks taking on Ari Daivari of the Trustbusters. But before the match can even start, Ethan Page and Stokely come out with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy runs out behind him, stands in the middle of the ramp, starts doing the delete chant. The whole crowd's chanting along, and then Stokely and Ethan toss him out, much to my sadness. I'm like, yes, you go, Matt. Yeah, chaos. So anyway, apparently Ethan is going to win the battle royal, and Ari then takes that distraction to attack Starks, but Starks wipes the entire mat with Ari Daivari in about like 30 seconds. He
Yeah.
spears him, Rochambeau 3 squish,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Ethan is mad.
Yeah. I mean, like I didn't know who Ethan. I didn't know who Ricky Starks was fighting. So when I saw Ari Daivari in the ring, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a squash match. And it was a squash match, and it should be a squash match because Ricky Starks is heads and tails, or heads heads and tails, heads and shoulders better than Ari Daivari. Just weird to see Ari Daivari get so much wrestling time because remember his time in WWE. But like yeah, this match was what I expected once I saw who it was. It was quick, it was fast. Really, I don't really call this a match because it was it's so quick. The weird part is this little storyline going on. So I guess Ricky's gonna lose so obviously to MJF, and will he have maybe a feud with Ethan Page? Is what I'm assuming
Apparently.
is probably gonna come up, right? Which is fine. I mean, Starks versus Page. That's not gonna be a bad series but Page isn't not really on Stark's level,
No.
but I mean, we can expect some good matches. So I guess that's what they're doing. They're planting seeds. You're right, a little bit chaotic still.
Yeah.
I just started laughing when I saw Matt Hardy run out and just started doing the
Oh, that
delete.
was the
The
best.
crowd is way behind him and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like the crowd was more behind him than they were MJF. But
Oh, 100%.
it was funny. And yeah, I don't know. I still am not sold on this Stokely Hathaway like group they have. Like bring back
No.
that guy. What's his name?
Oh, the one who
Uh
had the Men of the Year, the
Man
one
of the
who
Year. Yeah, yeah,
America's Top
yeah.
Team. What was
Yeah,
his name?
Dan
Dan
Lambert. Bring
Lambert.
back Dan
Yes.
Lambert, Tony. Like, come on. Like, I don't know what happened, but bring him back. He was at least funny. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, good. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But I was like, all right, this is
Yep.
setting up some stuff.
Right.
So
But yeah, I know. It's like, it's funny. We've had a couple of bad segments on this show, but I mean, we haven't even hit rock bottom yet. So shall we keep going?
yes, we should.
We get a brief like boost up for a moment when we get Tony backstage with Britt and Jamie, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter, of course, your women's champion. And Britt immediately says, "How about the Pittsburgh Steelers with their big win here in Indiana this week?" And she goes, "But let's talk about that big sit down coming up with Soraya." And Jamie then interrupts and says, Tony, you really need to do a sit down with me. Right. And then Britt just says, yes, you will do that.
yeah, yeah. This was funny because it's true. Why
Mm-hmm.
isn't Jamie getting a sit down? Why isn't she
Mm-hmm.
getting talked to? Like, well,
Yep.
who cares, man? Soraya, like she won a match,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yep.
was it. So,
Yep.
so yeah, I agree, and I love where Britt's like, yeah, and Renee, you can stay home because we don't need you. We're gonna use Tony. But yeah, no, I like this. It was great to see Jamie and crew and Britt in there. So I was just happy to see them there. So yeah, this was okay. This was good.
Yeah. And I like the little subtle seed plant again that the minute that Tony's back there to talk to the world champion again,
Britt.
Britt cuts in with her crap about Soraya.
Yep.
Right. So just once again, Britt is putting the spotlight on herself. It's all about Britt, right? And even though Britt's the one getting Jamie the interview, and
Mm-hmm.
so the little seeds continue to be planted. So you know what? This was a good segment.
It was.
Then we have Anna JAS taking on Willow Nightingale. I missed the first half of this because I was dealing with some logistics. So my apologies. I have no recap of the opening of this match. But there was a point where I noticed Anna was choking Willow blatantly, and the announcers were noting how methodical Anna was being because she was wrestling fairly slowly. She does a hammer and anvil. What is wrong with my tongue tonight, people? I just don't understand. It does not want to cooperate with the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm going to make a judgment call, though, and continue. So she does hammer and anvil.
Hammer and anvil.
I just can't say the word, can I?
Anvil.
Hammer and anvil elbows. And then she locks a chin lock on for a while. Willow lariats her into the corner. Big boot, spine buster for 2. Anna hits the reverse face buster for 2. I love that move. Anna locks in the Queen Slayer, but she's doing it standing up. So Willow just drops on her. Ty tries to distract her from doing the Dr. Bomb setup, but Anna only gets 2 on the distraction pin attempt. Willow then gives her a lariat, Dr. Bomb for 3, and that's your match.
Yeah, this match, I mean, it wasn't like the best. Like last week, we got that women's match, and we thought, hey, it was great. This match was just okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it was okay. You could tell these like they're still like Anna Jay still needs a bit of work. But again, she was trying to execute as best as she could. Willow Nightingale is really over to the audience, which is kind of funny because as she was like posing and doing these things for the audience, I'm like, wow, is Willow Nightingale part of the JAS? Because that's sports entertainment right there. That's not wrestling, right? So I think it was good to have these guys on it. I get why again, as they mentioned, there's been a big they mentioned at the beginning there's been a big feud brewing between these two teams. So I guess the JAS and Sky Blue and Willow. So they did actually bring it up. But I overall thought the match was okay. I mean, it again didn't hate it, but I wouldn't put it as like a top match, like a must see. You got to see this match. It just wasn't that.
Yeah, 3 stars. Yeah, it was okay. It was a little bit slow in spots. I mean, the parts I did see, of course, like I said, I missed the beginning, so I'm not necessarily your best judge of this match in its entirety. But yeah, it did its work. And Sky and Willow Nightingale seem to be getting some reinforcements because Ruby Soho's music hits. We have a returning Ruby who appears in the ring behind Ty Mello and goes after her and eventually manages to hit her with the Destination Unknown on the ramp, and Tony sings her theme song very off key.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. It's I forgot that she was injured. I totally forgot she was injured. So it's great to see Ruby Soho back on TV, right? Not on this like dark and elevation. So yeah, I think a match between her and Ty is going to be pretty good. Ty's been getting better. Ty and Anna, I would say Ty's is better than her currently, but I mean, they're still a work in progress, and Ruby's really good. So I'm kind of happy. Well, not kind of. I'm happy to see Ruby back. I didn't realize that this was kind of like her hometown. She was like 30, or she grew up 30 minutes away or something like that. They were saying. So yeah, no, this was good. I was happy to see Ruby back.
Oh yeah, me too. It was great because I mean it's another solid wrestler returning to the women's division. So and for her to have a match with Ty Mello, that'll be good. Ty's improved a lot, and I think that'll be a really good match. I'm actually looking forward to it. So good on him, and another welcome return. So we got both Hangman Page and Ruby Soho back on one night. Speaking of returns, we get a recap of the House of Black attack from last week. Boy, we could have used them a few times tonight. Could you imagine if they'd interrupted MJF's segment in the middle of it and just trashed him? I mean, they would have been like the biggest faces in the company at that point. But was not to be. All we get is Malachi saying to us, before this week is done, you will see more of us making less of them.
And the funny thing is, then we see none of the House of Black.
Yes.
So I was like,
they're getting confined to Rampage.
You lied to me, Malachi. What the hell?
Yep.
But I just love the beatdowns that they keep showing. Just put them back on the show. Like,
yes,
they could have interfered a few times tonight, but hey.
And then in what I'm going to call the promo segment of the night, we have Tony backstage with QT Marshall and Orange Cassidy. And QT's like, And apparently they've signed a no punching each other clause. So QT says, no interruptions, right? I want a shot at that All Atlantic Championship, and Orange Cassidy says, okay, no problem. And Tony's like, so you heard it? He goes, wait, no, I want a lumberjack match. And Orange Cassidy goes, okay, see you there. And Tony just starts talking about the match, and QT's like, why does everyone keep interrupting me? And we have the match set up for Rampage, lumberjack match between QT Marshall and Orange Cassidy in the easiest setup for a match ever.
It was funny, like QT Marshall, like he's like, well, the fact that he was like, I keep getting interrupted by everyone, and as he's about to ask for the match, Cassie's like, yeah, whatever. And then he's like, I want to, yeah, okay, whatever. And then he's like, oh, okay, he's about to say something, and Tony just like says, okay, the match is set. He's like, what's everybody keep doing this?
So good, so good.
I like that. Yeah, as we said, QT Marshall is really good.
Marshall.
QT Marshall. According to Taz, QT Marshall is really, really good. And him versus Cassie will be a good match on Rampage.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a good one. And then someone took out a shotgun and shot AEW Dynamite through the face. Because next up, we have the Jade Cargill celebration. And Jade Cargill says, now we all know why we're here tonight. And I immediately thought, Kenny Omega, Death Triangle, the Bucks, Brandon Cutler. I mean, like, clearly I know why I'm here tonight, right? Danielson versus Dax Harwood. And she says, I say who a baddie is. Well, that's great. Thanks. Why did you two, and she refers to her two baddies, chill with her, the one she kicked out? Standing next to me is a blessing. Get in line or step. This company is eating off me. That's kind of gross. I'm the brightest star. Put me next to anyone, and the regular consumer will say I'm the star. So, right, you next to Kenny Omega, and we're going to say you're the star. You next to Pac, you're the star.
You're the star, exactly.
You next to Britt Baker, you're the star. Look, I'm saying you next to Tony Storm, you're the star.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, you're not a star by any. You next to Ruby Soho, and you're still not the star. All right, like, come on. She puts asses in seats. I am the real deal. I create careers. I don't know where any of this came from. Okay. Then Bow Wow came on the street, and all I wrote down is, and I'm done. This period is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Bow Wow kind of said that he's finished touring, and
I don't want to hear it. I don't care.
And yeah, it's I don't know. I like this segment is, again, Tony Khan is giving so much TV time to these celebrations that don't progress stories, don't do anything. And and the audience, they were just standing there. No one was actually like cheering or anything. So I don't know who he's selling this to, but it just didn't work.
And it was boring. It was terrible. It was disjointed. It had no sense to it. It was her just being so overblown, like saying statements that just, they don't even have a measure of reality to them. So are we to believe now that she is the most delusional superstar in AEW? Right? I mean, I didn't understand her promo. It was just boring. Heel paint by numbers. Useless. This is supposed to be your championship celebration that was just some confetti that some poor guys at ringside had to clean up the minute she was done. Because please, Jade, make way for the actual stars in this company, please. You know what this made me do? It made me miss the Acclaimed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like, seriously, I missed their celebrations because they were more entertaining than
and they were on the show today.
They were on the show because they came up next, and they said they're not having a match because everyone loves us. So this Friday we're going to give a tag team shot to the Bucks, right? Because they said they're going to give a tag team shot, the top tag team, and then Billy Gunn tried to say that the Acclaim were the top tag team, but so they're going to give it to the second best tag team. So no matter how you look at it, the Bucks are getting a title shot on Rampage, right? That has to be it.
That has to be it. I don't see anybody else. Yeah,
because they said the best.
They did say the best,
right? So it's the Bucks.
I hope so. I hope the Bucks challenge, but then the Bucks would have fought already tonight, right? Because they taped Rampage afterwards.
But I mean, they'd still beat the Acclaimed even if they would.
They could easily.
Yeah.
And the weird part is we're hearing from Swerve in Our Glory Rampage as well. So I'm like, Interesting.
Does that have anything to do with this at this point?
I
don't
have
know.
no clue.
So could they possibly mean, though, if they did get slightly confused, they might mean FTR or they might mean Death Triangle?
Yeah, but Dax just fought, and so did the Death Triangle, right?
I know. So I mean, like, I'm sorry. In that case, we have another group of delusional people in AEW who don't understand who the best tag team in the entire freaking world is. So what is wrong with these people?
I don't know. I
I
have no
don't
idea.
understand this. We went from Bryan Danielson versus Dax Harwood to this.
Yep.
Fortunately, our Lord and Savior, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, are up next. We have match 3 of the Death Triangle versus the Elite. This match opens during the Death Triangle entrance because the Elite immediately run up the ramp and begin to attack them. And the whole thing was on. Now, the bell hadn't rung yet. They fight outside for quite a while. And I'm just going to give you guys the highlights because go watch it. This match is 100% worth going out of your way to watch if you haven't seen it. Find it. Go watch like a DVR Dynamite. How hard is that? Go watch this match. Watch it 3 times. Omega does a vaulting leg drop to Pac on the stage. That one where he goes over his head and lands on his hip. And it just looked so painful.
The Kataro Crusher. Yeah.
Yes,
when he did it.
Crusher.
Oh, God.
Yep. And then there was a brawl around the ramp area for a good chunk of time. No bell yet. Pac does a moonsault off the stage. And then Matt follows up with a crossbody onto Death Triangle shortly after in the same spot. They drag, the Elite drag Death Triangle down to the ring. The bell finally rings. Pretty soon after that, though, we get a ref. I mean, there's a lot of fighting. I'm not going to highlight everything, but we get a ref bump. Ray stops Penta then from using the hammer. Penta has it. Penta slaps Ray. Ray then eats a V trigger that was meant for Penta, who dodged. Yeah. And I mean, this V trigger looked like it killed Ray.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, man. Shortly after that, so the hammer, that's it. No more hammer in this match. Then we get triple moonsaults. I think one of them did a shooting star press. I couldn't watch all 3 of them at the same time, but we had Pac, Penta, and Ray Fenix on the same turnbuckle. Yeah. Doing moonsaults and or shooting star presses and or some kind of flippy dive in opposite directions, one in the ring and one towards each side. And then Penta hits a Fear Factor on Kenny for 2. It was nuts. Pac hits an avalanche Falcon arrow at one point for 2 on Kenny that just looked devastating. There's a fight forever chant. Omega took so much punishment in this match. I mean, he got beaten down for so long for the first half of this match, but then he comes back, V-triggered, but then Pac hits him with a German, but then Omega hits him with a lariat. They're down. Then we get Nick and Ray into the ring, and the match goes nuts with lucha things. That's my summary for this. The match goes nuts with lucha things. They hit a more bang for your buck on Ray, but there's a huge save by Penta. Then Ray does a cutter on Omega out of nowhere. I think he like somersaults in, jumps up, cutter on Omega. And it was just like, where did he come from? And holy crap, that was fast. There was a bad camera angle on Pac and Matt for a bit. I didn't quite understand what was going on over there because they focused on Penta doing his moonsault outside. I think it was a moonsault outside onto the rest of the Elite. Anyway, Pac can't quite put Matt away, hits him with a bunch of moves. The end comes here. And he sets him up for the Black Arrow. He goes for the Black Arrow, but Matt's knees connect with Pac's face.
I know.
Pac goes limp, falls back onto the mat, basically unconscious. Matt pins him for the win, and it is now 2-1. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Krishna, just because I'm obligated to. What did you think of this match?
I think this was the match of the night, obviously. This match was fantastic. Like, we kept asking, how are they going to change up these matches, right? So when I saw the Elite run up the ramp and just attack Death Triangle, I'm like, okay, they fought for half the match outside the ring. The match didn't even start. They fought. They kept fighting. Kenny and Pac, I have to give credit. And you know what? I'm going to throw Ray in there as well. Their selling and their bumps they take. Oh my God. When Pac does that kind of like where he throws the guy into the ropes and he bounces back and he just flips him. I swear Kenny lands on his head every single time. That avalanche Falcon arrow. Holy crap. Right? When they're like, no, oh my God, is he going for a superplex? I'm like, no, this is Pac. He's going for the fucking, and he hits at him like, are they trying to kill Kenny Omega? Is Kenny Omega trying to kill himself right now?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? This match was so great. Like even the ending, you're right. That it was a little weird angle where it should have been focused on Penta bouncing and going outside the ring, but because they showed when they kind of showed him Pac that Pac's a legal man now, but then they kind of focused on Pac, and then they on the side were showing, so you kind of saw Matt just sitting like just there
Mm-hmm.
right on the floor. You're like, okay, what's going on? And then they
Mm-hmm.
fought a little bit because you're like, well, then why didn't Pac just jump on the rope and do his thing? So he had to
Right.
take him down a little bit more. Regardless, I thought the finish, oh my god, when he hit his face on Matt's knees, I was like, ouch, that had to
Right.
hurt.
But think about the precision.
That's
Like,
right,
how good are these guys
exactly.
to set that finish up with that much precision so that he lines himself up so his face is going to connect with the knees,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, and smartly wearing his mask as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Obviously.
100%.
So yeah, no, this match was fantastic. Like the elite, and now it's now 2-1 for
Mm-hmm.
Death Triangle. The elite, as Excalibur put it up, they're making a contest out of this now, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
now it's 2-1. So, and the next match is not till smartly, not till
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks away, not next week,
Yep.
the week after, right? So you have a little bit of a breather. Um, so yeah, no, this match was great. I mean, it's these guys, like all of these
Mm-hmm.
guys. Like
Yep.
I don't know if you caught it, but there was a little bit of a mistake made by Nick and uh Ray at one point, right? If you take a look at part of the match when they both were in the ring, Nick throws Ray into into the turnbuckle, and Ray jumps
Yeah.
up and does a little spin, and you could see they both kind of like
Yeah, they
something
blew
was
some
supposed to
timing.
happen,
Yeah.
right? And then they had to kind of correct, but they corrected it so quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. I will forgive minor mistakes like that if there's no if immediately it's corrected, and it was
Yep.
immediately corrected. And I
Yep.
mean, this just shows how great these guys are. So yeah, this match by far best thing on the card today, right? And again, the Danielson match was awesome as well, but this was this saved this show, because I could thought about it, if they didn't have a match like this at the end of this show,
Mm-hmm.
this show would have sucked today. This show would have been
Yeah.
absolutely terrible.
Because it would have been all downhill from the
Yeah,
Danielson Harwood match.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. There would be no saving grace, right?
Yeah.
So this saved, or I shouldn't say saved. It kind of just like saved any type of momentum or anything that this show had. This either gathered it up and kept it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this match was just amazing, and I'm so happy the elite are. I'll say this every week. I'm so
Yep.
happy the elite are back. This
Oh,
is
tell me
so
about it.
good.
Oh, I know. This match, I mean, come on, it's match of the night,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
This is going to be a very, very tough match to beat for my match of the week. This was my favorite of the three matches so far, and I'll tell you why. Because this match was about the Bucks and Kenny being behind 2-0,
Yep.
right? And that's how they're desperate, and they
Mm-hmm.
fought desperate. There was
Yep.
another level to their story today, right? It was like, oh crap, we are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it also got the hammer thing, right? So you got Penta slapping Ray. There's a little bit going on with them. So some of the
Yeah.
tension in the Death Triangle also didn't let them cheat, right? And then the Elite just took it to Death Triangle over and over again. Although, I mean, there were long stretches where Death Triangle got to shine
Yeah.
too. But man, the moves in this match, like it was just so well put together with the one minor hiccup, like you said, that they
Yeah.
recovered from like crazy because these guys are pros, man. But that finish, I loved how smart that finish was. That was such a good inventive finish that
Mm-hmm.
only guys that are this precise in their moves can pull off.
Yep.
Right. I was just wow, like wow, guys, that was brilliant. Well done, amazing match. Right. It's just, you know, thank God these guys were on the
Thank
show at the
God.
end, man, because after the Danielson Harwood stuff, I was like, what happened to this
It went
show?
downhill. It went
Yeah,
downhill
and
quick.
then you
Yeah.
get to this match and it's just, okay, we're back. I mean, it was just phenomenal. Go watch it. Everyone should watch this match, right? And at the end, appropriately enough, the mic is handed to the man himself, Mr. Kenny Omega, and he said, you know, there was never going to be a sweep when the cleaner's in town. And I'm like,
yeah.
good line. I like it. I like it. And he says, it's the first time in a while that I get to close a show. So goodbye, everyone. Mwah. Good night. And bang. Okay, the song again. And they
Yeah.
start up Carry On Wayward Son again. And it was pretty damn great. So yes, that was Dynamite tonight with a phenomenal closing match, with a phenomenal closing human being. And but what was overall a Dynamite that was dangerously skidding into mid territory. So
Not even mid. Like it was Dynamite skidding into like a below mid territory, right? Because could you imagine if the Danielson match was the only match that we had? That's not like that match could not have saved this show at all.
And that was almost an Omega level match itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
that was a great match. And if the Death Triangle Elite match wasn't on the show, that would be match of the night on a lot of Dynamite.
Exactly. That's
great.
Exactly.
Match. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, and of course the Omega level match at the end. You can't have a match where Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks win it in the way that they won it and not have it be an Omega level match.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just, and how different was that match from the other two?
That's
right?
The whole thing. It's different.
These guys are geniuses, man. Geniuses. Why do we ever doubt that they'll be able to just continue with a string of good storytelling matches? I bet they've got the whole damn thing planned out.
Of course they do.
All the different kinds of matches they're going to wrestle and stuff. It's just brilliant.
Like there's going to have to be like they're probably going to do like a ladder match maybe. They might do like a who knows, maybe they end it in the steel cage because they have options, right? And is the seventh match at a pay-per-view or anything like that, or is it just like on a random?
They've got the list of them. I think it's just on a random Dynamite.
Okay, so then
I think
because I think Winter is Coming is going to be a big match for them.
Yeah, it really will. That'll be pretty great. So and that's the one in 2 weeks, or is there a Dynamite then Winter is Coming?
There would be, because December 14th they're doing it. So if they're doing it not next week but the week after. I think it is actually because December. Yeah, it is not. If they're,
okay,
if
so
they're
the next match is at Winter is Coming.
Winter is Coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll be the one that the Elite ties it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And they're also skipping the 4th because that's Wrestle Kingdom.
Of course. Well, they have to.
And Kenny will be busy losing
obligations.
To Will. Yes.
Obligations, guys. Obligations.
Yes. Exactly. So that brings us to the point with our one thought to summarize the evening.
My one thought to summarize the evening is I'm so thankful that the Bucks and Omega are back because, as Kenny said, they've come to once again, or as he said to Will, change the world. And yes, even though he said that to Will as well, that he's going to save New Japan, he's secretly saving AEW as well.
That's because New Japan doesn't need saving. They have Will Ospreay.
He's going to have fans sharing in the seats eventually, just throwing it out
there. Anyway, my thought to summarize the evening is when you have Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, and Death Triangle, you can basically surround them with a bunch of sewage and you still have a good show.
Yeah, that's for certain. That is for certain.
Can you please take MJF and Jade Cargill off my television screen? Man. Thank you, Tony. I would truly appreciate that. And you know what? You know where I don't find stuff like this? Stardom, people. It's pretty great wrestling. Go watch it. Anyway.
Yeah, MJF is turning out to be one of those like old-timey heel runs where they just have like the most boring matches and they promos suck. And I'm like, what did I say at the beginning of the show? I said MJF better have a good promo because that's what he has. He is a killer on the mic. And if he doesn't have that, he doesn't have anything. And guess what? Tonight he had nothing.
What he needs to be doing is more like what Ted DiBiase was doing, and like trying to bribe little kids to do really dumb stuff and then not paying them and things like that, or like making fun of little children and making them cry. I mean, that was pretty good stuff back in the day. Ted DiBiase knew how to do this kind of a heel shtick perfectly. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. But with that, we do come to the end. And as the great one actually said tonight, goodbye, everybody. Mwah! Good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.
Play the song.